If you need unlimited domination, clutch time, or anything else grinded, make sure you hit up Rose NBA on Twitter for quick, safe, and reliable grinding services. Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the best centers in NBA 2K23 MyTEAM here on a tier list. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 8,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, generally multiple videos a day, and I would really appreciate your support if you haven't already, if you do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it, though, and let's start off with Chet Holmgren, who I think is a pretty solid card. I think I might have to do a little bit of reevaluation throughout this video, but I do think Chet probably comes in around the B tier. Not going to use 2KDB for every card, especially if it's going to do this. I don't know. Is 2KDB glitched or something? It won't load it. Okay, well, apparently 2KDB isn't working. It's not letting me load results, so I guess we're not using 2KDB for right now. But Chet Holmgren, pretty good card, very low strength. He's got like a 45 strength. That's his biggest flaw. Outside of that, he's a pretty good card. He can stretch the floor. He's decently athletic, decent interior defender, just incredibly low strength, which is really an issue. It's going to cause him to get dogged out on the interior drop step really easily, things like that against bigger bigs. But he's still a very solid card, and I think he does deserve a spot in the B tier, even being an Evo card who doesn't get upgraded badges. Jalen Duren's going to be D tier. We're going to have several D tier centers in this video, maybe even more than you would normally have, simply because guys like this who are not elite athletes, like they have decent but not incredible speed and can't shoot the ball at all, are just not super viable options at the center position. Jalen Duren is just one of many of those guys that we're going to see in today's video. Alonzo Mourning is A tier, really good interior guy, has really solid speed with 85 speed and excel, a decent release, can shoot the three-pointer capably. He's a very solid all-around card, not quite an elite level center in my team, in my opinion, but I do still think he's a very good center, and I think he does deserve a spot in the A tier. Anthony Davis is S tier. He's the best center. Actually, there might be a debate he's not the best center anymore, but there is certainly not a debate that he's an S tier center. Top 2 center in the game for sure. An elite card with the amazing release, the ability to create his own shot, way better than basically any center on this list. Really versatile defense, incredible badges and stats. Just an amazing all-around card at the center position. We're gonna put Dikembe Arvydas. Is Arvydas actually an A tier center? I think Arvydas is an A tier center, but he's a back end of A tier center in my opinion. He's just not that good, to be completely honest. Like, he's elite size, 7'3". He's really going to be dominant on the interior on both ends. Really good interior defender as well. Great rebounder. He's just incredibly slow, and his release is not very good. Whereas a guy like Zydrunas Ilgauskas, who I don't actually, oh, he's down there at the end of the list, is Big Z, has a much better release than a guy like Arvydas Sabonis, and overall, in my opinion, is just simply a better card than Arvydas overall in game right now, just because his release is a lot better. Also, Big Z has Hoff Anchor. Arvydas doesn't have that. He might even be B tier, but for now we'll put him in the A tier. Bill Russell's only 6'10", doesn't have an elite player build. He's fast, but he's only a defender, can't shoot the ball at all. And unfortunately, his speed, I mean, he's got like, what, 86 speed. We got several centers with that type of speed at this point in the year. Good card, but I don't think he's higher than D tier. Blake goes B tier. Blake's a really incredible slasher, obviously Hoff bully, elite slashing ability, a capable-ish defender in terms of versatility, but he's not going to be an elite defender on the perimeter or the interior by any means. He doesn't have amazing size. He's got a short wingspan with kind of T-Rex arms. Really good shooter and slasher, great offensive center, but defensively, he's just doesn't have the size or elite defensive stats and badges to be a true top tier center in my team. Still a really good card though, and I think he does deserve a spot in B tier. Honestly, Bull is also going to slide into the B tier for me. I might wind up moving him down, but this card plays way better than his stats and badges say. He defends on the interior much better than you would think he would, simply because of the fact that he is so long. 7'2" with a massive player build really helps out the fact that his defensive stats aren't really all that amazing. Same thing with his badges, and he's got a smooth, easy to green release, and he's a knockdown three-point shooter. I know he's limited on stats and badges and things like that, but player build, jumper, those things are big and make him a very solid option at the center position. And honestly, just like the last couple of years, Bull is going to be an absolute menace when we start getting better cards of him in my team, which honestly may happen even earlier this year because he's actually playing in real life. So all it takes is Bull having a couple of good games. We might even get ourselves a moment to Bull or something like that. So definitely something to watch out for. But Chris Bosh is borderline S, borderline. I think he's got to go S. I think he's going to be back end of S, but I do think he's still S. One of the best releases in the game for a big man. He's got pretty solid size, plays decent interior defense, somewhat athletic, not an elite athlete by any means, but definitely not a horrible athlete either. Just a versatile, really solid option at the center position with an elite release, guy who can stretch the floor. I'm a big fan of Bosh, and I still do think he deserves a spot in S tier. DeAndre Jordan is very similar to Jalen Duren and a lot of the other inside centers. Doesn't have elite speed, not an elite shooter, or not an elite shooter, can't shoot at all. Good interior defender, good lob threat, but like not good enough to be higher than the D tier with the complete inability to shoot. A guy who does have a complete inability to shoot and still is going to be above the D tier is going to be Dikembe Mutombo, simply because he is so dominant on the interior. He's 7'2" with a massive super wide player build, elite interior badges on both ends, but especially defensively. He can elevate, I feel like, the guys around the court defensively, the guys around him on the court defensively, to a level where I think he's not a D tier guy despite not being able to shoot the ball. And he might be the only inside center in the game besides one other guy who we'll get to here in a couple minutes who is not a D tier center but who can't shoot the ball. So yeah, Dikembe slots in C tier for me. Dirk is going to be another D tier. You know what? Dirk's actually going to be C tier. I think you could make the argument that Dirk is a D tier center, but I'm not going to make that. It's going to be close. He might wind up being a D. I don't think he's D tier though, to be completely honest. He can stretch the floor, which is nice. His release is not elite, but it's not as bad as it's been in previous years, which is nice. He's slow and he's not a good defender, but like he can stretch the floor at center, which is nice. Doesn't do a ton else besides that, but he's not a completely atrocious card. I really would not use the guys in D tier at all. So for me, I think C tier is probably fair for Dirk. S tier is easy for Hakeem. He and AD are the two best bigs in the game. Hakeem has an elite player build, is an elite interior defender, versatile defender, has great speed for a center. His release is better this year than it's been in previous years. He can stretch the floor to super high level, especially being glitched to shoot the ball. I mean, he's so versatile defensively, can shoot the ball, can mash, elite offensively on the interior, just an elite all-around card. Stats and badges are like really right there with a guy like AD in terms of the best type of center in the game, and he has such a great player build as well. He's just such a good card in my team. This Hakeem is an absolute monster. Picked him up for my squad today, and I think he is incredible. So definite S tier for me. Jermaine O'Neal is going to go A tier because of his... Actually... Yeah, we'll put Jermaine A tier. Oh man, actually, I don't know. I'm putting Jermaine in B tier. No, I'm not putting Jermaine in B tier. I'm putting Arvydas Sabonis in B tier. And I know people are going to say Arvydas is better than Jermaine because Arvydas is big. I don't like to play the pure matching style, and Jermaine is more versatile with another guy who doesn't have an elite release. In fact, his release is probably worse than Arvydas's, but he's much more versatile offensively and defensively with his ability to be athletic, to guard the perimeter. Still a good interior defender, a very good rebounder. Doesn't have the size of Arvydas, but he's better in every other area than Arvydas except for maybe shooting. But overall, I do think he is a solid card, just a very mediocre release, which is his biggest problem, is that his release isn't very good. But outside of that, he's an elite level card, and I think he does come in A tier still. D tier again for Joakim. He's got Hoff Anchor, which is a great badge, but he doesn't have elite size. He's slow, and he can't shoot outside of the mid-range, so pretty mid. I'm going to go D tier for me. Joel Embiid is going to go in the... Joel Embiid is going to go in the A tier. I considered putting him S tier, but I'm going to put him A tier. His release, it's ugly, but it's not a bad release whatsoever. I actually like his release in terms of being able to green it. He's got good size, low vertical, and not super fast, which is kind of annoying, but he is still a pretty versatile center, can stretch the floor, solid interior defender, solid interior guy offensively. He's got a good player build, good height. Overall, he's a pretty versatile, pretty good card at the center position. Not that elite tier of center in my team, but he is a pretty solid card all the way around, and I do think he still deserves a spot in the A tier. Definitely a fan of Joel. Another guy who I honestly think deserves a spot in A tier that I didn't think would when the card first came out is Karl-Anthony Towns. Just a guy who can stretch the floor at a high level with a release that is improved this year. It's smoother, and I feel like a bit quicker than it's been early game in previous years, which is honestly quite nice. He's versatile. He's really good. I think Karl-Anthony Towns is a very good card in my team. Pretty high on what he can give you offensively at the center position. Not a great defender though, but again, he's got pretty good speed as well. I think he's a pretty good card, and I think he deserves a spot in the A tier. Another pretty easy S tier for me is going to be Kevin Garnett. I think he's the third best big in the game after Hakeem and AD. He's versatile. He can shoot the three. His release isn't the most elite, but it's not bad whatsoever. It's easy to green. He's got defense. He's athletic. He's got he can play on the interior on both ends. Can even play make a little bit, even though his dribble stigs aren't very good. He's got the athleticism to be able to attack the rim against a slower big, and play make for his teammates as well. Just a really solid, really versatile card. Big fan of what KG can give you on the court, and I think he does deserve a spot in S tier pretty easily. And then our final S tier of the video is going to be Kevin McHale. I'm going to put Kevin McHale in S tier. I think Kevin McHale is a really good card in my team. His release is very underrated. It doesn't look great, but kind of like Embiid, it's really good. He's got elite length with basically an 8-foot wingspan, Hoff interceptor, super versatile stats and badges, good athleticism. Just a really good card who plays super good in my team, especially once you get used to his release, because I think his release is honestly quite good. Despite the fact that it is kind of ugly, it's honestly pretty darn quick and very solid. And I think he's a really good card in my team, and I do think he deserves a S tier spot. LaMarcus Aldridge, great budget big, can shoot the ball, not the slowest in the world, but not a great card at this point. Not super complete compared to most of the guys above him either. I think he's okay, but I don't think he's incredible, and I think C tier is a fair slot for him. We're going to put Moses Malone in the... B tier. Actually, you know what? I'm going to be completely honest. I wish 2KDB was working because Moses Malone is actually a dog. Let me see if I can show y'all this Moses Malone card because I think he's a card that people look at and don't expect to be all that good. I don't know if it'll let me look at him from here, but if it does, that would be nice because he's a really, really good card. Yeah. So 85 speed and excel, a low 3-point rating, but a good release. I can tell y'all that right now. He's a good interior player on the offensive and defensive end of the court, and he's a great rebounder, half anchor, half post lockdown, half bully, half masher. Can get a few shooting badges like Claymore. His catch and shoot can get upgraded. Slippery off ball or guard up, something like that. Quick first step. He's got great speed. He's a good interior defender, really good release. This card shoots a lot like Ruby Anthony Davis and does everything else better. I think he's an A-tier center. I'm going to stand on that too. I really do think he's an A-tier center. I would actually take him over Jermaine O'Neal because he's got a better release than Jermaine. So I'm going to move Jermaine down to the B tier. I'm going to put this Moses Malone card in A tier. I might even try to get y'all a gameplay with this Moses Malone card here in the next couple days because I don't know if anybody's posted a gameplay with him on YouTube, and I think he's a really, really good card in my team. Jokic, he can play make better than most centers, but he's not elite speed. His defense is really mediocre. He's better than the guys in D tier, but he's not a great card, so he's going to go C tier. Ewing is going to go... I know he's a Galaxy Opal, but this card is not very good. Oh man, is he even deserving of A tier? Like, I almost think Ewing's not deserving of A tier. His stats are mid. I mean, he's slow. He's got like 69 speed, which isn't great, and his release is really not good. He's a dominant interior guy, and he can shoot when he's wide open, but like, he's kind of slow. I don't know. I struggle to even put him in the A tier. Like, I think I'm going to wind up putting him in the A tier, and I'll leave him in the A tier because... You know what? No, I won't. I lied. I'm not putting him A tier, and I'm moving Bull as much as I like Bull down to C tier. I'm putting Patrick Ewing in B tier. He's the top of B tier, but I'm sticking to my guns. I don't like the card. He's going B tier. I think he stinks. I know he's an Opal, but I don't think he's good at all. Gobert is super slow, great interior guy, and a really solid defender, but he's super slow, and he can't shoot. Like, not a very good card. Don't think he's good at all in D tier. And then we're going to put Wilt in B because he doesn't fit my playstyle. Some people really like Wilt on having an inside center, but this is my tier list, and I don't like running an inside. He's the best inside in the game, but his complete inability to shoot really limits my offense because I run a lot of pick and roll, or a lot of pick and pop, and Wilt just doesn't do that. But an incredible masher, incredible defender, incredible rebounder, elite length, elite player build. Right there with Ewing is the best card in B tier, and I think he's really good for a lot of people's play style, but not for me personally. And that leaves a spot for Big Z here in A tier. Big Z, butter release, great size. He's basically Arvidas, except better interior defensive ability and a better release. Really, really good card. I think Big Z is one of the best trophy case centers in the game. I'd probably take him over Alonzo Mourning and really over everybody except for Kevin McHale from the trophy case centers. I really like the card a lot though, and I think he deserves an A tier spot. So this is my tier list of the best centers in the game right now. Let me know what you think of my list down in the comment section down below, who I maybe ranked too high, too low, or left off the list entirely. And also tell me which centers are you running right now in NBA 2K23, and who are your favorite centers in the game. So hopefully y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.